My experience for the vast majority of times I was with Machinima was a very positive one, alright? But obviously something changed and something happened because I'm not with them anymore. And a lot of there's been a ton of speculation over this past month. What specifically happened with Phil? Why is he of all people, Phil's been like the one guy who stayed with Machinima the longest, and he stuck up for them. Why the hell is Phil not with Machinima anymore? Did he get fired? Did he choose to leave? The bottom line is you can't fire me because I never worked for them, okay?
And I see idiots making videos like that. DSP fired. I was never working for Machinima to begin with. I was in what was called a partnership agreement. It's an at-will agreement, meaning that both sides need to agree to want to have this relationship business-wise, and at any time it could have been severed by me or by them, okay?
And it kind of was a mutual thing, which I'm going to explain in a moment.
Machinima would have these weird initiatives and weird directives that they would do, and then they'd abandon them all suddenly. And it was just so bizarre. That first year that I was partnered with Machinima, I made a ridiculous fuck ton of money. More money than I've ever seen in my life. 2012,
all right? I was contacted by Machinima, and they said, are you interested in going to E3? So here's what happened. I literally, I'm not even kidding you. I linked, after E3 ended, Machinima was like, we'd like to see how everyone covered E3 and how you covered Hawken and all of that. Can we have links to your footage and everything? So I gave my contact at that time, another person, not the original contact, I had a different contact. I gave them all the video, link to the playlist of all the videos. I mean, dozens. I think at that point I made like 100 videos at E3. It was insane the amount of E3 coverage we did. Plus the Hawken videos and everything. I gave him a link to everything. The guy emailed me back, he said, Phil.
Holy shit. He says, dude, you worked your ass off.
He said, I probably shouldn't say this, but most of the people who he sent out there, they didn't do shit. They went out there, they went to the Hawken party, and then they just fucking partied their ass off all week. Yeah, they did a few videos at E3 here or there, but literally they used it as like a paid vacation. Dude, you worked your butt off. This is great. Like, the guy was so positive with me. He's like, you by far covered it better than anyone we sent out there in 2012. You did the best coverage of E3.
After E3 2012, I was never contacted whatsoever to get into E3 from Machinima ever again. I was never contacted to get into any event ever again.
Besides PAX, that was the one exception, is for 1 or 2 years, I actually got a miscellaneous email from one of the people at Machinima saying, would you like to get into PAX this year? We can get you into PAX if you want to get in. And incidentally, the years that I got those emails were 2014 and 2015, the 2 years when I definitely couldn't go, because that first year we had just moved in here, and we didn't even have the house fully set up by the time that PAX West was going on, so we definitely couldn't go. And then the year after, Leanna ended up getting sick. We actually had it arranged that I had passes and everything, and she ended up getting sick and we couldn't go.
Late 2012, it was around, I believe, November, mid-November, late 2012. I got a call, not an email, not a text, a call from Machinima, something very important, we need to talk. Now we have to renegotiate your contract for less money.
And it has nothing to do specifically with my channel. I guess it's all channels on YouTube. The initial contracts that Machinima had given everyone, the money that they had negotiated for everyone ended up being more money than what ad revenue brought in on YouTube. Now, it could have been that YouTube ad revenue plummeted that year, and there's strong rumors that in 2012, that was the first year where kind of the high advertisement revenue bubble burst, and ever since then, it's been a steep decline. I don't know, because I wasn't tracking ad revenue back then. I was only tracking my channel views. I didn't give a crap about ad revenue. But that was the first time ever that Machinima, out of the blue, said, you're getting a pay cut. In late 2013, YouTube decided to flip a switch on a change that screwed over everyone on YouTube who made gameplay videos. What this change did is it made it so that even if you were with a partnership network, their content ID match system now affected you. So overnight, I was fine. I never had a content ID match, never had major issues with copyright, nothing. Overnight, one night in December 2013, I'm not even kidding you, hundreds if not thousands of my videos on DSP Gaming got matched for music, visual content, whatever. Some of them were blocked, some of them were muted, some of them were removed, some of them just had ad revenue stolen. And it's ridiculous because I was always protected from that being with a partnership network, okay?
How the fuck did Machinima not know that YouTube was making this change? How did they not relay this to their partners? And how did they have no protection in place to stop this problem?
At the time, it wasn't just me. It was every big partner on YouTube, including Maximilian. I actually talked to Maximilian about it. I talked to, oh God, what the hell's his name? The Rad Brad. We were all kind of communicating via Twitter, trying to figure out ways to solve this issue until Machinima figured out a bigger fix. So they literally said, we got a bigger fix in the works, guys, but for now we can't help you yet. You're going to have to figure it out for yourselves. So I actually figured out a way to remove the music from the videos who had claimed music, and I relayed that to other big YouTubers who were with Machinima, and it was this big rigmarole for like 2 weeks. Then finally, after this 2-week rigmarole, Machinima says, well, for certain partners who are big enough, we're going to give you the managed partnership. In 2015, so this was 2 years ago, You know, I'd been out here, living here in Washington State for about a year. I started having tons of issues. I started getting DDoS attacks. I got swatted that year. I had the false copyright strikes against my account and all that shit. All this nasty shit happening to me, okay? Machinima, in a huge way, helped me that year, alright? They actually got in contact with me in regards to all the shit that was going on, and they said, we're gonna personally help you. I got in contact with the head of the partnership program, which, guess what? He was the same guy who I had met in person at E3 2012 3 years earlier. He had left the company for a long time, 3 years, came back, and he was hired as the head of the partnership company, our partnership program. So obviously it was a huge coincidence, but it was also great because I knew the guy, and we had a great rapport. I could explain to him the problems that were going on with false copyright, the issues and shit, and he would give me recommendations. He would go to YouTube and talk to them on a conference call, immediately call me right back and say, here's what we learned. There was another girl who was working for the company who was actually in contact with me in regards to, like I said, attending PAX. She also was the person who was getting me in contact with game publishers to get me free copies of games. If you actually remember, in 2015, I got free copies of a ton of games, including games like Rainbow Six Siege. I had an early copy of Fallout 4. I got a copy of the Uncharted collection. I got a copy of... I'm trying to remember. There was like maybe 10 games over the course of 2015 that Machinima actually hooked me up and put me in contact with those game companies and got me free copies of those games. In late 2015, Machinima contacted me and said,
Phil, the party's over. And I said, uh-oh, what now?
Now, here's the thing. Unlike 3 years prior, remember, late 2012, I told you they'd renegotiated my contract once for way less money, okay? And I accepted it at that time because that contract was great and I liked being with Machinima. They'd sent me to E3 and all of that. Well, in late 2015, I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get any kind of Skype call, nothing. I got a generic email from someone in the finance department of Machinima stating, Phil, we are canceling your current contract as of this date. Here's the new contract. You're no longer going to be in a contract that's based off of views. You're now going to be on the contract that almost everyone on YouTube is based off of, ad revenue, okay? So what I earned was based off the ad revenue that my DSP Gaming and other channels were earning on YouTube. They were kicking me out of the old programs and putting me into this ad revenue-based one. And I said, well, this sucks because, number one, it's completely impersonal. No one called me. No one explained the situation. They sent me this generic form letter, actually with a new contract in it, all right, stating that they were forcing me into this new contract or they were going to cancel my contract at the end of the year. And I said, this is ridiculous. This isn't how you treat someone who's been a partner and a top partner of yours for years. I should have gotten a call, at least explain the situation. And by the way, they were rushing me into it. They were only giving me like 30 days to sign this new, way less lucrative contract, or else they were going to give me the boot, okay? So immediately I contacted the head of the partnership program, who I was friendly with, and I said, listen, I need more time than just this. I need to go out and see what else is out there, what other companies are offering, and see if you're offering or what you're giving me now is better than what they're going to offer. You can't just force me to sign this within a couple of weeks. I'm going to need some time. So the good thing is, again, because I had good rapport with the head of the partnership program, he said, we are going to give you an exception. We're going to give you like two months to figure out what you want to do. And you can sign with us or not. It's up to you. But this is the best offer, the absolute best offer we can offer. And we apologize. We know it's a pay cut. But it is what it is. We can't keep paying you a flat rate because, again, apparently Machinima had found out they were paying me more money than what the channel was making ad revenue-wise. So why on earth, again, their finance department didn't figure this out and stop it to begin with? I have no idea. It makes no logical sense that there's this major partnership company who apparently has terrible finance people who never alert anyone in the company of what's going on, and therefore they always pay people more than what they make. It makes no fucking logical sense. How could you stay in operation? You couldn't. You'd be bleeding money constantly. It makes no sense. So, I went out there in late 2015, and I looked at other partnership companies and what they were offering, and it turns out they were offering slightly less what Machinima wanted to offer me to stay with them. So I said, okay, I'm going to stay with Machinima. And I remember at that time I talked about this publicly. A lot of people gave me shit. They said, Phil, didn't you hear the negative press that Machinima did this thing and Machinima did that thing? Why would you stay with Machinima in late 2015 when they have this negative stigma associated with them and a lot of big YouTubers have left them because of this? Why would you stay with them? And I simply said because
They're offering me more money than everyone else. That's the bottom line. That's why I'm staying with them.
I ended up accepting all the renegotiated contracts, and as of late 2015, I ended up making way less money than originally I was with Machinima because I had gone into this ad revenue-based contract, performance ads versus views, which is bullshit. Because as a content creator on YouTube, I shouldn't have to worry about, oh, YouTube did good this month and signed up all those good advertisers, so I should try to pump out more video views this month to get more ad revenue in this month. But this month, I know traditionally they don't get a lot of ads, so I should just not do as much this month. I should be focusing on giving you quality stuff you want to see all the time and not have to worry about that shit. But because YouTube does a horrible job with advertisements and acquiring advertisers and keeping them, as we've seen in the news recently, they lost 250 top advertisers because they fucking suck and they don't know what the fuck they're doing because they're inept at their jobs. Now the content creators get screwed, right? The bottom line is if YouTube had done their job all these years and kept the advertisers on YouTube, that initial contract I had with Machinima back in 2011 would still be in effect today. And everyone would be hunky-dory happy. Machinima wouldn't have had to seek multiple different people to fund them or whatever, and we'd all be fine. But because YouTube can't do their fucking jobs, we're all in this position right now where a lot of YouTubers are now coming out and saying they can't even do YouTube for a living anymore. I do remember, you know, in the summer of 2016, I may have written them a log, because I had to, because again, my point of contact was apparently laid off, so I had to write them a log in their automated system about why did my views drop all of a sudden, because everyone noticed this in the summer of 2016, everyone's views plummeted. And it stayed that way. It wasn't like they went down and went back up. No, they went down and just stayed down. And obviously YouTube changed something, some algorithm or something. Never disclosed that information, never shared it with anyone, didn't admit it. And I even asked Machinima. Machinima asked, and they got no response from YouTube. So I stopped pinging. Because at one point, how many times are you going to ask, and you're not going to get a response from YouTube? Because they feel like they're so high and mighty and elitist and better than everyone that they can just change their whole fucking website and business without having any kind of disclosure to the people who make them fucking money by giving them their own content. It's so insane that this company operates the way that they do. They're such a company with their heads up their own asses.
They're so elitist because they're all fucking Ivy League educated morons who have no street smarts. I've said this a million times before.
Now let's talk about the current issue, what literally just happened, why I'm not with Machinima anymore, because you will not believe this story either. All right, so here's what happened. All of a sudden, in February 2017, 2 months ago, I looked at my channel performance, and it made no sense. It told me that there was a spike in advertisement from, like, you know, October, November, December, that it went down slightly in January, which you always expect, and then in February, when typically ad revenue goes back up, it plummeted. It went half. So it was already down in January, then it went down by 50% more in February, which meant, with that amount of money being made, I couldn't pay my bills, all right? I mean, at that point, you know, I hadn't instituted any backup plans or anything yet, or any kind of, you know, things to fix anything. I literally didn't know if I was going to be able to pay my bills, my mortgages, anything, come this month, in fact, this month of April, because I was apparently going to make half as much money on YouTube than I had ever made before. I wrote a log, had to write a log, because there's no point of contact anymore with Machinima. They all got laid off, right? I wrote a log to their system. How can this be? Why does it say I'm making half as much revenue or whatever? Per the first response I got, okay, from their customer service department, the guy completely blew off my question, didn't answer. He basically said, oh, well, you know, February is a shorter month, and based off of these ad revenue percentages and CPMs and all of this stuff, it looks like if it had been a month as long as a normal month, you would have made as much as you did in January, but it was a shorter month. I was like,
are you an idiot? I made half as much as I did in January, you dunce. This is completely factually incorrect. You're completely dodging the question.
I went back to him, I said, that is not a satisfactory answer. I want a better answer. That doesn't factually make any sense. I can't pay my bills unless you contact YouTube and find out what's going on. At this point, I thought maybe it was an error, like a glitch. There was actually a couple times with Machinima where this happened, where they either underpaid me or overpaid me. There was one time Machinima, I'm not even kidding you, this is a funny one, they paid me 3 times more than what they were supposed to pay me 1 month, then they realized their error, and for 3 months they didn't pay me at all. They fucked up internally, they calculated way too much, and then they decided not to pay me at all. So, thank God, when I got that giant sum of money out of nowhere, I questioned them rather than saying, oh, it must have been a good month this month, and went and spent it, and the next thing I know, I have no income for 3 months, right? But they periodically have these issues. There was one time, many years ago, this was like 3-4 years ago, where all of a sudden they just sent me a lump sum of money. I said, what is this? And they said, oh, well, apparently there was a miscalculation on YouTube of your views. We actually owe you thousands of dollars. I was like,
sounds good to me.
So in this case, I thought maybe this was another situation where not the views, but the ad revenue was miscalculated. Maybe it was an error internal. Maybe they could fix it, right, on their end, and my ad revenue would go back to what it was, normal. So that's what I asked. That's what I was hoping for. And it took about another day to get an answer, and now it was supposedly this guy who I guess is one of the more senior members of the customer service department at Machinima, and he came back to me saying, Phil, we're going to ping YouTube on this and give you an answer. It does look like, according to what you're saying, your ad revenue is way down. Like, everyone else has higher ad revenue than you. We can't figure out why your particular YouTube channel may be down and why you may be targeted. From what we're looking at, it doesn't look like you've been flagged as advertiser unfriendly, which would mean that my channel was apparently eyeballed by YouTube by saying that I'm not a channel that the common people would see or that advertisers would want to advertise on. I mean, typically channels that are affected by that are political channels, religious channels, those kind of channels. I'm just doing video gameplay, you know what I mean? So that's not super controversial. You wouldn't think that my channel would be flagged. And from what they saw, they said, no, you're not. So let's get answers. I waited 3 days.
Got no response. Now, in the meantime, I'm making no money. I'm making, like, next to no money at all during February. And I'm like, where's my answer? I need a fucking answer from these people.
Nothing. So I finally pinged them again. Nothing. I pinged them again. They finally respond. Okay, well, we talked to YouTube, and YouTube says that, no, you're not flagged for being advertiser unfriendly. They didn't give us any more answers. We'll continue to ask, but, whatever. I'm like, dude, this is not a valid response. I need an answer from YouTube. And I know what's going on is they're bringing it up quickly in like a meeting or a conference call as an aside issue rather than driving it as a priority, okay? So they get a quick, little one-off quick answer, and that's it. Oh, we got it. Let's send that back to Phil, and hopefully that'll appease him.
No, if I can't pay my bills, you telling me you don't know what the issue is isn't going to fucking appease me.
Okay. So I went back to them again, and I said, well, this is not acceptable. This is unsatisfactory. I need you to escalate this issue to management. That was the first time. So this has been a week now that I have been talking through this log system with Machinima about making half as much money as usual, and I didn't get a satisfactory answer. I asked for them to escalate it to management. I waited another day, no response. I waited another day, and I wrote them another log, and I said, you now have me waiting 2 more days. You still haven't given me an update. I need an answer. They came back and again blew smoke up my ass. No concrete information whatsoever. And I said, I went back to them again, and I said, this is it. I said, I asked you now twice to escalate this issue to management. Okay. So now I knew basically they weren't going to do that. So I said, well, I know what I can do. I can contact the head of the partnership program. Now, it had been a while since I talked to him, about a year. So I knew, who knows what has happened within that year. So I write the guy an email, because I have his direct, in my contacts and everything in my phone, I have all his direct information. I write him a message, and I wait. I get an automated message back. It says, that person is no longer with the company. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. The guy who was the head of the partnership program, who helped me out tremendously all through 2015 and late 2015 with the contract renegotiation and everything, he's gone? Yeah, he's gone too, so they got rid of him too. If you have any issues that you would have contacted him for, contact this guy. So I forwarded the whole same email that I written to appeal to help to the head of the partnership program, explaining the whole situation. I sent it to this other guy, whatever, and that was all I could do, right? The next day, of course, keep in mind, I hadn't been getting any regular responses. Because I had sent this off to this other guy, I get a response the next day, again from the automated log system, the same guy who's apparently an up-and-up guy at the customer support of Machinima, and he says, we've contacted YouTube. They still are looking into it. They still have no definitive answer on what's going on. We've determined you are not flagged as advertiser and friendly, so that's not it. But we're not, we don't have any answers yet. But then they said something that when they said this, that was pretty much it for me and Machinima. Here's what they said. They said,
we would appreciate it if you don't go out of your way to write and contact other departments here within Machinima. To basically stay within the lines. Stay within where you're supposed to be talking to us for help on customer support in this log system. And don't you dare go outside and try to contact anyone else for help. Alright? That was it.
Because literally what that is, that's passive-aggressive, that's talking down to me, that's telling me, treating me like a child. Like, how dare you try to, do something that's not within these little guidelines and rules, and you went outside of the dotted lines, right, to try to get help. Let me tell you something, folks. In my lifetime, if I never sought help outside of that one directive road that everyone tells you to go, I never would have got help for anything. And this goes for any kind of job or whatever. And I'm not saying that if you're in an established corporate line where there is, a direct line of leadership that you should jump ahead or anything like that. But the bottom line is,
you deserve respect. And if you're not getting answers and you're not getting respect and you're not being treated fairly by someone, you have the right to stick up for yourself and seek out help from someone else and or seek that respect or aid from somewhere. Never ever let someone tell you to basically sit there and be happy and shut up like a little kid and sit in the corner and we'll give you information when we get it.
Because that's literally what this message said. It was very passive-aggressively worded to me saying, don't you go and talk to anyone else within the company but this customer service line ever. That was it. I wrote them back, and here's what I said in my message. Oh, by the way, they did give me a suggestion as well in this message. With that passive-aggressive message, they said, we recommend you shorten your video length, because right now we're seeing your videos on average are 20 to 30 minutes long, but your average watch engagement is much less than that. What we need you to do is shorten your videos so that your watch engagement percentage will go up, and hopefully you'll get better ads on your videos, all right? So they did actually give me a good piece of advice. Not to say that it was an amazing piece of advice. It was kind of like a quick fix rather than a root cause of the problem kind of answer. But they gave me that piece of advice, and I responded, and the first thing I said was, I want you to understand something. This literally is a situation where I'm in dire financial straits, and if this stands where I'm going to be making half as less money on YouTube as I ever did before, starting now, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to have all my shit reclaimed. Credit card bills are going to go default. I'm probably going to have to declare bankruptcy. I'm going to lose everything. And the fact that I've now been talking to you for a week and a half and you can't get me any kind of answer, I have every right.
as a fucking respectable human adult.
To go seek help elsewhere. It's your ineptitude is the reason why I have to go seek help elsewhere. And I said I wasn't going and seeking some department outside of the scope of where I would look for help at Machinima for help. I was going to the head of the partner program, who throughout 2015 and 2016 helped me repeatedly with false copyright strikes, with issues against my channel, with contract negotiations. That would be the natural person one would logically reach out to. I wasn't going outside the scope of what I was supposed to be doing. That's exactly what I was told to do 2 years ago for issues. Now all of a sudden in 2017, you changed your whole structure again, and now it's the wrong thing to do, and you talk down to me. And I literally said, I feel like you've insulted me, and therefore, I'm going to be honest with you. I want you to escalate this issue to management. I don't care if it's your manager, if it's the CEO of the company, whoever it is, they need to be aware that this is an issue going on with YouTubers and people under your partnership program. And I want you to know that if you feel that this is how you're going to treat me as a partner,
I don't want to be with you anymore. And I said that in black and white writing in this message to them. I don't want to be with you anymore. If you're going to mistreat me and talk down to me and not get me help and basically talk to me like a kid. Because this is my livelihood here. Understand, this is my livelihood.
And I ended the message in this manner. I said, I do not want to hear from you again. I want to hear from management, who are going to explain to me the situation of what is going on, all right? And that's that, okay? The next day, I got a message from Machinima saying, and it was from the same guy, so again, went against my wishes, we have decided to execute our right to end a partnership with you on all of your channels. Therefore, here's the legal agreements that we had with you. With DSP Gaming, this channel can only be, you know, for a certain amount of days. For the King of Hate vlogs, a certain amount of days. And for KO Gaming, a certain amount of days. So basically what they were saying is they didn't want to be in an agreement with me anymore with the partnership, all right? So let's recap this situation. I did nothing wrong. Okay, I wasn't in violation of YouTube rules. I wasn't flagged for being advertiser unfriendly. All of a sudden, I literally started making half as much money as I usually did. It was to the point where I was afraid I was going to lose my house, my job, my livelihood. Everything was going to be repossessed. My life was going to be fucking ruined. I didn't have a backup plan to fall upon, okay? I contact Machinima for help for a week and a half. They give me the runaround and don't give me any answers whatsoever on what's going on, and they refuse to hold YouTube accountable and get answers from YouTube. Then I go to a contact who I'd already had from 2 years running as a contact of someone who's helped me and told me to go to him on these issues. I went to him, was told he wasn't with the company anymore, and then I was scolded by Machinima for talking to the guy that I was told previously should be my point of contact for issues like this. Talked down to like a fucking child. So I laid down the line with Machinima and said, if that's how you're going to treat me, I don't want to be with you anymore, and they released me from my contracts. So that's really what happened. I asked basically to be released if they were going to continue to disrespect me, and then they released me from my contracts. That's what happened word for word. What kind of a fucking company would anyone want to be? Who would want to be with a company who talks down to you? And when you tell them that you've been insulted, they just say, well, fuck you, and they throw you away like that, right? It's insane. That's ridiculous. That's one of the worst things you could possibly do. When you have someone who's been, especially me, I've been with them since 2011. It wasn't like I was a newcomer and I was being a dick and I was being demanding. I was the opposite. I never really went to Machinima. I never asked them for free games. I never asked them for free stuff to go to trips or anything. I never asked them for advertisement promotions. I never participated in any of their crazy programs that got them into trouble. I was like the poster boy of success for Machinima, right? I always kept my nose clean in that regard. And for them, after 6 years, to basically say he's just a nobody and blow me off and then insult me for talking to someone who was a previous contact of mine, fuck that. Like, get the fuck out of here. Now, of course, I did some research. After all this happened, I said, I've got to do some research. I got to figure out what really happened here. I found out, ladies and gentlemen, that in 2013, Machinima's management got shaken up, and basically they got taken over by the CEO, all right? I'm not going to change his name or nothing, but I did some research on this guy. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, went to Ivy League schools his whole life, parents paid his way, by the way, and, he's on the board of directors of a million different companies, which means there's no way that his actual full attention is given to Machinima at any one time whatsoever, all right? There's no way. When you're on a board of directors of a bunch of companies, you're constantly involved and intertwined with their issues and things. There's no way that you could possibly be involved full force in the company that you're supposed to be the CEO of. This guy is basically the antithesis of everything that I stand for.
I'm a believer in hard work. I'm a believer in earning everything, earning your way. I was a person who was incredibly intelligent and was in line to possibly go to Ivy League schools, and I was told no, I couldn't go because I needed financial aid, and they didn't want me because they didn't want to give me the financial aid.
If I'm white and smart, I can't go to Ivy League school unless I'm rich. If I'm a legacy or I'm rich, I can go to Ivy League. But since I wasn't rich, I was denied. I applied to 2 Ivy League schools, and both of them literally said, you're declined because, you know, financial aid issues. Wow. Isn't that nice to know that in America, if you're rich, you can stay rich and go to Ivy League schools and be on the board of directors of a million fucking companies and make horrible decisions?
This Ivy League educated fucking bonehead who's rich off his ass, who's on the board of directors of a bunch of places, thinks that he knows how to run this company, yet all they've done is fucking fail since he became the CEO.
So, I could tell you what happened here. They fired everyone. They, for some reason, oh no, we didn't make a ton of money. They just cut everyone out, and probably that guy who was the head of the partnership program for me, they got rid of him on a whim. Fuck him. Let's get someone new in here. And by the way, I actually found out the new head of the partnership program at Machinima. Guess who he is? He's a guy who's a fighting game community head. And literally, since he's become the head of their partnership program, you know what he does? He goes to fighting game tournaments and he promotes the tournaments. And that's pretty much it from what I've seen. Like, he's really heavily into competitive fighting games. Now, everyone knows
the competitive fighting community hates me because I speak out about their bullshit all the time, especially in 2016. The amount of times that I spoke out against Street Fighter V, right?
So, if anything, right, during this whole issue going on with the ad revenue stuff at Machinima, and me making half as much money in February, if they even went to that guy, which they should have, he probably said, oh, I know that guy, fuck him. He talks shit about the fighting game community, he talks shit about Street Fighter V, we're not gonna help him. You know, and it's ridiculous, because, like I said, I never did a thing wrong with Machinima, and I never violated a policy, I never did anything wrong with them, ever. And all I did was try to basically stick up for myself and keep myself afloat and not have my business fall apart.
And to be treated with such disrespect from them was the last straw, to which I said, I don't want to work with you anymore if that's how it's going to be. And then they cut me from the contracts, basically. So it was mutual, honestly. I said, that's it. If you're not going to step up and help me, I don't want to be with you anymore. And they said, okay. And then they released me from my contracts. And that's what happened with Machinima, okay?
The entire time that I was with Machinima, not once ever did they do anything for me in regards to helping me grow my channel, to helping me become more popular on YouTube. It was always, oh, if something goes wrong, then we'll try to help you. Oh my God, you know, the content ID system will get you into a managed partnership. Oh my God, you got false copyright strikes, we'll try to get those cleared up. But never was I ever, even with the height of my popularity, like I said, the one call I got from Machinima was, gee, why don't you become a game commentator for tournaments instead of making my YouTube channel better and turning it into something that's going to be long-term successful? And I was like, what the hell kind of call is this, you know? So it's so weird, the experience I've had with Machinima. I've had big successes, and there's been tremendous failures. And the fact that this company never, ever could be coherent, they always seemed schizophrenic and chaotic, and always people in and out the door. I could never have the same point of contact for more than a few months. And then these last few days, you know what I mean? These last few months where, what a horrible falling out, where they don't want to help me, and they're, you know, dragging their feet, and they're basically insulting me. To hell with that, you know? I would rather be with a company that's not going to respond at all than a company that's going to basically talk down to you and treat you like a kid. I can't contact someone who's helped me dozens of times in the past couple of years with issues like this. You're going to yell at me and talk down to me like a child?
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I'm an adult. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I'm an adult. Sorry, I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel. Me.
I'm the one who puts out the content that's entertaining and has a fan base. Me. I'm the one. So that's the deal. That's what happened. I know, that's crazy. Out of nowhere, basically not getting help and being mistreated from a company that had told me previously, you know, all these ways to help me and everything. I know. But that's what happened. That's the God's honest truth of what happened.
Yeah, Machinima fucked me. Machinima did fuck me in that regard, but it is what it is. I wanted to leave anyway. After I got disrespected, that was it, man. There's no way I was going to stay with them and put up with their bullshit. Especially because I wasn't getting answers or anything anyway from them. So what was the fucking point of staying with them at that point, right?
Some people have said to me, I'll finish the video like this. They said, Phil, if you had a falling out with Machinima, you're not with them anymore, and you're not in a managed partnership, why on earth are you with another partnership company? Okay, why? Because it's way different on YouTube. A lot of people now don't even go with partnership companies. They just go with Google AdSense or whatever. Well, I can't not necessarily 100% answer the question. I think originally I did apply for Google AdSense on DSP Gaming a long, long time ago. We're talking 2010. And I'm almost positive that it was denied because they said it was, at that point, gameplay-related content and therefore it wasn't monetizable. Now, I don't remember if that had something to do. If you remember, then I monetized my vlogging channel, The King of Hate HD, and within 2 months, YouTube shut that channel down and said that they found click fraud. And I was like, well, it wasn't me doing the click fraud. It was obviously other people, but I can't stop people from doing it. YouTube didn't care, and they shut down that channel. But I'm almost positive that was the same AdSense account that was associated with DSP Gaming. So basically what I would have to do is set up a new AdSense account, a new everything, and try to start from scratch and get all that set up. Honestly, it was easier for me to just contact Curse and say, listen, I know you're going to take, a cut or whatever, but if you could just quickly monetize all my videos for me. So, in this regard, things are good. Right now, yes, YouTube ad revenue is still down, way down, but because I'm doing good on Twitch, it's kind of making up for it. And what I'm going to see within the next month or two is the money I actually make between YouTube, between Twitch, between the tips and stuff people are giving me on streams, between Teespring, which I got to advertise now, of course. That's helping me out. A lot of things are all coming in Patreon, which obviously still helps me out. All these income sources. Can I make as much money as I used to before the ad revenue drop and pay my bills and keep my house and keep everything? Right now, it's looking good. I don't want to say for sure, but right now, it looks all right. Let's play it by ear and see how it goes over these next few months into the summer. All right, folks. That is the story, my history with Machinima. I don't know how much of that you knew and how much you didn't know. At this point, I'm happy to be somewhere else, and I'm happy to be doing stuff the way I'm doing. So let's stay positive for the future. Let's stay away from negative bullshit like that, and thanks for watching.